A lot of people, when they're asked why they don't try more mobile RPGs, they generally bring up one thing: Gacha. And whether you like it or not, when it comes to mobile RPGs, the really big players in the genre, well yeah, they're mostly gachas. But trust me when I say, Ex Astris is here to change that. Ex Astris is a turn-based 3D RPG from developer New Wave Studio. It's being released by Gryphline, the same publisher behind the upcoming super-hyped Arknights Enfield. But unlike Enfield, Ex Astris is not a gacha game. What? That's right, it's a premium game, which means you can purchase it on all the app stores. It'll cost you $9.99, and that's it. No free-to-play, no battle pass, no pulls. So what is Ex Astris like? It's not exactly a pure action RPG like Genshin Impact or Diablo Immortal. It's turn-based, in a way that takes inspiration from some classic RPGs, but that doesn't mean it's old school. In fact, there's a lot of fast-paced action in it. Just like in Paper Mario or Legend of Dragoon, you can parry enemy attacks by timing a button press just right, as well as making sure party members join in on combos at just the right time, so it's more of a hybrid in that way. One thing that is also a bit of a hybrid in Ex Astris is its setting and story. Is it sci-fi? Is it fantasy? A bit of both. Olindo is a tidally locked planet, which means half of it is a land where the sun never sets, and the other half a land where the sun never rises. Beautiful landscapes are dotted with high-tech buildings of marble, metal, and crystal. The first character you play is Jan, an investigator from Earth with a mysterious mission. Together with V, an Olindo native, she sets off on a road trip through dangerous lands filled with dangerous creatures. It sounds great, right? Well, I played Ex Astris for a few hours, and I can say that it definitely feels like an RPG that could have been on a console or PC. There are towns, side quests, landscapes to explore and find loot in. It has a captivating story and stunning visuals. It actually really reminded me so much of the fusion of future and magic in Honkai. But while Star Rail's combat is relatively straightforward, and can even be run on auto most of the time, the combat system in Ex Astris is confusing at first, but surprisingly satisfying enough to get the hang of. However, that does take a bit of time. There are tutorial screens and explanations, but the best advice I can give is read everything. Tooltips, terminology, codex entries. The skill and type system is robust, and doesn't really fall into standard fantasy elemental tropes. Instead, it includes particle abilities and wave abilities. Some are openers, some are finishers, some hit low, and some hit high. Some characters can defend against certain types and not against others. There's also items galore to gather and collect that tie into upgrading cooking systems that I felt like I just barely scratched the surface of. Controlling the whole thing on touchscreen was also a bit of a challenge, but I think I got there in the end, and turn-based combat works much better for mobile too, in my opinion. So, is it worth the money? Well, I have to say that it really is. I haven't gotten a good idea about how long this story may be just yet, and no doubt there will be DLC and add-on content later. But hey, the fact that there is no gacha element or microtransactions was refreshing and made it feel like a full experience. There's no fear of missing out, just a pretty good RPG game to play. The version I played had no English voice acting. Just a choice between Mandarin Chinese and Japanese, but it may be added at a later date. It didn't detract from my impression of it, though it may do for others. Also, the localization holds up, and so does the writing for the most part. If you're willing to pay for it and looking for a fun anime RPG experience that is not going to hurt your wallet, I highly suggest you check Ex Astris out. So, Ex Astris is the best mobile RPG I've played in 2024. Its beautiful design, interesting hybrid combat system, and fascinating story is worth the price. If enough people buy it, maybe more premium RPGs will come to mobile and there will be less gacha games. Nah, who am I kidding? There will probably always be gacha games. But in this day and age, it's nice to pay for something up front and then just sit back and enjoy the gameplay and story, isn't it?